So if I can make a video this week, I can make a video any week. I wanted to do a gaming video this week, but that didn't happen because of the things I'm going to talk about now. I've never considered myself to be someone who wasn't financially stable. I have been good about saving money. I have a 401k. I put money in savings every single time I get a paycheck. I thought I was doing good. I had $10,000 in savings just sitting there every single month that I wasn't touching. And we had our AC blow up. We had to have our ducts redone. We had to buy new equipment, new handler and new condenser. It was just that time. And that was $12,000, just under $12,000. That sounds like a lot, but it's not when you look at the amount of ducts and stuff that goes on in a 2-story home that's split level and has really 3 levels. That was doable. That's understandable. We were on an 18-month payment plan. We were going to pay it off in 18 months, regardless of whatever we had. We were going to do that. It was going to be taken care of, no problem. But before we get to that, I want to talk about how ridiculous things have been during this pandemic for us. We, at the beginning of the pandemic, had been living with my brother. He lived here with us. We bought the house together. We shared the mortgage payments. We split everything, all the costs of the home. My brother had different plans, decided to move out, which is fine. It's still frustrating, but it's one of those things that I understand. I don't blame him for wanting to move out. We had a renter, so that renter was here. And when they moved out, that was a difference of $1,400 a month that now my wife and I have to make up. So that in and out equation changes significantly when they moved out. We also had to buy my brother out of his part of the equity on the home. So we took a $50,000 loan there to buy him out so that he could be whole and that we would fully be responsible for the home. So at the very beginning of the pandemic, we took a $50,000 hit in debt, and we also have $1,400 less coming in to make payments on things. That's big, and that's really difficult. And it was difficult going into this. About a month into the pandemic, my car broke down. I'm not driving anywhere, so we weren't driving it day to day and didn't realize there was something wrong. And it cost $5,000 to get it back up and running, but it's only worth about $10,000. So there goes half the value of my car. Luckily, we could afford to do that, and we did. So that's $55,000 hit at the beginning of the pandemic, on top of not having more money coming in. Then the AC happened, so there's $12,000. So now we're up to $62,000 of debt, plus the $1,400 less. And this weekend, on Saturday, we went downstairs letting our dogs out at 7:30 in the morning, and I heard Elizabeth scream, "Oh my God. Oh my gosh." Like, she's freaking out. I immediately jump up because she was up letting the dogs out. I was still in bed. And I come downstairs and there's water everywhere on the lower half of our split level first floor. We immediately called plumbers. We got our shop vac. We started trying to get the water out as much as we could. Shut off the hot water because it was hot. So whatever was leaking was hot. People who were doing our AC actually do plumbing. So I actually called them and they actually were able to come out before the emergency plumber. They're 99% sure. They haven't tested yet, but they think it's a slab leak, a hot water slab leak, which alone can be $2,000 to $4,000 to repair. Where this is located, it's hard to do. It's hard to do because there's structural components and there's walls all around it. They may bust open the floor and find out that's not where it is and have to find it in another spot and do a ton of damage trying to find it. And a better solution in our old home is to repipe all the plumbing. So the contract for that, instead of $2,000 to $4,000, is $12,000, which sounds crazy. Why would you go to $12,000 instead of $2,000 to $4,000? The problem is, once you have one slab leak, it's because the copper pipes are going bad in your slab, and they're going to keep happening. And it's not just the cost of the repair. It's you've got to repair it, but then you have to redo your whole bathroom because they tore it apart to get to the slab foundation and tear that out and fix it. So you have to rebuild your whole bathroom or whatever else gets destroyed in that process. So the $12,000 makes sense because you don't want to have to do it over and over and over again. And they said they had one person do theirs and they had 3 in a year because that copper's all going bad at the same time. This is a 20 plus, this is a 40-year-old home. So that copper's only supposed to last 20 years. It's lasted 40. So it makes sense there's starting to be problems. We're at, let's see, we get the 50, we had the 5, and then 12 for the AC, 12 for the plumbing. So what is that? Like $80,000 in debt, essentially. And we make $1,400 less per month. I legitimately I had a serious bout of panic this weekend because the pressure of that is so great. You know, I'm an engineer. I make a decent salary, but $80,000 in a weekend, in a week, essentially. Let's say it's a week, because that would be fair. AC was over the course of a week, and then the plumbing. We had one day of good AC before the plumbing incident. I've always considered myself good about saving, too. Like, the fact that I had $10,000 in savings, I thought was pretty good. Apparently, it's not. I looked up some stuff online thinking, like, what's the average person have? Well, people that have my salary have about $10,000 in savings on average. So I'll do an average. I don't know how we will make these payments. If we don't, we have an 18-month loan for these $24,000 for the AC and plumbing. If we don't pay it off in the 18 months, we have to pay the full interest, 26.6% like a credit card, on the full amount. So I have to figure out how to roll this into my mortgage or do something if I can't pay that off. I don't think I can pay it off. I realistically don't think it's possible to pay that off in an 18-month period. We're basically breaking even on a month-to-month basis. And we were trying to find ways to slowly save up and pay off that $50,000 loan already. So I'm pretty devastated right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what our options are going to be. But I didn't want to miss a day of video. I wanted to continue this goal of one video a week. And so this is it. I'll probably just upload it unedited. I might toss up some video from the stuff downstairs, but I am legitimately, I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. I'm at a loss. And the stuff I was working on last week didn't end for work. So that pressure of that opportunity is still there. And I have to get through that. And I have to follow through and do a good job this week. On top of now I have water mitigation people here. They're ripping my walls apart already. Tuesday, they're going to start taking the plywood out, they're going to start taking the drywall off the walls. So that's going to get ripped out. Our floorboards, whatever the trim, whatever it's called, they're already ripped off and tossed out and in the garbage. Or the carpet's already torn up. They'll probably have to tear out the wood floor at some point. And I don't know if any of that is going to be covered by my homeowner's insurance. So on top of everything else, if my homeowner's insurance doesn't pay out, something that will help us recover from that, that's an additional thing, and that's going to be an immediate cost. That I don't know how we handle that. That's the most frightening thing to me right now. The $24,000 is a lot, but if homeowners insurance doesn't help us with that, then what's the point of homeowners insurance? But I know it's iffy with everything like that. So I don't know. I'm legitimately, I don't know. We'll find a way. It's just frustrating because you work so hard to do the right things all this time. And then some things are just out of your control. You know, you have to roll with the punches and you pick up the pieces and you just keep going, you know? So I just want my wife to be able to do the things she cares about. And she's starting to go back to school. This is her first week with students. And now she has all this pressure on her too. And I hate that. She's having to go back to school and deal with that. So anyway, it sucks, but that's what's going on. I'll see you guys sometime soon. All right, so I thought I'd do a quick little tour of what's going on in our house with all the stuff that's happening. So we've had people here doing water reclamation where they have dehumidifiers and fans and stuff, trying to get as much of the water out of the walls and the floors as possible. So in this room, I'll flip the camera around. You can see we've had to get all of my old game systems out of the way, all the electronics, all the wood stuff. We had to move everything out of the rooms that were affected and move them to the center so they could tear the walls apart. So they haven't started actually cutting out the drywall yet, but I don't know how loud I need to talk over these machines, but they're pretty large, making a lot of noise. They've ripped up all of the floorboards, whatever they're called. And they tested them today and yesterday, and they're still reading that there's water, and they're probably going to come in and tear out the drywall up to these blue tape marks. And the water had come out of this area all the way through this room and probably destroyed these wood floors. They're changing color already, you can see. And all the way out to here. And he tested it earlier today, and it was still reading moisture. So this is where I was working out. This is my gym, which the lights don't work, so I've got a little flashlight here. And they've got multiple fans in here with a dehumidifier trying to clean out stuff. We we had to tear all the carpet out here because it was totally soaked and messed up here. And so this whole area may have to get ripped out. I wish I had recorded during the day, but they had to tear all the carpet out to get underneath it, clean that out. And then we think the issue is a hot water pipe in our slab in this room, basically right underneath this dehumidifier, because this whole area was also flooded. So kind of crazy, just a lot to process and deal with.
Hey!
That's what happens when dogs are cooped up for too long. What's the matter, bud? What's the matter? What's the matter? What? What's the matter? What? What? What?
Girl! This is quiet time.
No, she's like, this girl's crazy.